In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a hybrid home YouTube studio, simply because I know how hard it may be, especially when you're starting out. So personally, by the time I actually record this video, it's been over a year. So basically I started in 2021 doing YouTube, and I've actually been working on my live streaming and video editing setup specifically for YouTube. And I thought I would actually make this quick video just to show you all the steps and all the things that I went through, and at the same time I want to give you some of my tips, everything that I have actually been learning. So let's not take much time, let's get right into it. What's up guys, my name is SUMMILUX Production Tips and Tools here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and let's navigate the live streaming and video recording world together. So starting a YouTube channel or any content creation journey, it may be actually overwhelming regardless of any experience you may have before you actually get started. Personally, I was a videographer before and I thought I had it, and guess what, it was really hard to actually even to get to record my very first video. It was out of focus, I was struggling. It took me like 2 hours to set up my lights and my cameras and everything, simply because it was actually something new to me. I never been in front of a camera before, and I never actually got to film myself because I was used to filming other people. So it took me time, and actually I've been learning some lessons as I kept creating content. And even my studio that I'm gonna be showing you guys today, that I actually use to edit videos and live stream, it took me time because I started with one camera, and then I kept adding some other cameras or some other angles, and I kept improving the way I was creating or designing my lighting, my background, and all those stuff. So in today's video is going to be really kind of honest and genuine, because it's gonna be putting myself out there and show you behind the scenes, especially if you're starting out. Hopefully this is going to help you. I have divided this video into two main parts, because the station that I'm gonna be showing you today is actually a hybrid station or studio, meaning I use it for editing and live streaming. Okay, so I have two monitors, one behind me and another one in front of me. Obviously I have some other monitors, and we're gonna get into that in the moment. Let's start with part one, which is gonna be my editing station. Just to let you know guys, even if it's called my editing station, I'm using the same computer to live stream and to edit videos. So you don't have to get two computers to do the video editing and live streaming. So basically I'm not gonna show the whole space where I'm sitting right now, but it's a spare small space honestly in my house, and I would say it's about 5 by 6 feet, so it's really small. So if you're working with a small space like me, you're probably gonna love this setup, because obviously I tried to optimize the whole space that I had. So for my video editing station, I'm actually using this 4K BenQ monitor. I've got this little table behind me that I got, and it's holding the monitor. I use actually Adobe Premiere Pro to edit videos. Reasons why I use Adobe Premiere Pro is because I love the Adobe ecosystem. Obviously you have to pay a little bit of money, so if you don't want to pay money, you can always go with DaVinci Resolve from Blackmagic Design, which is a free software that you can use, and there's so many other software that you can use to edit videos for free. But personally I went with Adobe Premiere Pro. I also use Adobe Photoshop to create my thumbnails. So sometimes I have some After Effects templates that I can actually use, if I need to tweak stuff also in After Effects. I can easily use After Effects in combination with Adobe Premiere Pro, because they are all kind of working together. On the top of that, I actually use Adobe Audition to clean and to record my audio. because if you can see, I'm recording this video with the USB microphone, so I'm recording the video separate from the audio, which means I actually record the audio internally into my computer. Like right now my computer is on and is recording using Adobe Audition that I'm gonna use to actually clean up my audio, add a little bit of EQ, just to make sure, add a little bit of compression just to make sure it sounds good. Now, once that's done, I'm going to combine everything with Adobe Premiere Pro with my video that's being recorded in my camera right now, and that's why I love working with the whole ecosystem. Now, moving on, I got my editing computer, which is gonna be the same computer that I'm gonna be using for live streaming as well. I'm not gonna go through the specs and stuff or the parts that I got into that computer, but I'm gonna put links to every single part that I actually use to build this computer down in my description, so you guys can use that as a reference. However, you can get any sort of gaming computer with some dedicated graphics card, good RAM, maybe between 16 and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Don't forget to get some SSD drive in the computer. Now, moving on, we actually gonna talk about the cameras that I'm using. So I am using Panasonic GH5. Okay, again, I owned those cameras before I started my YouTube channel. Those were cameras I was already using. I didn't want to go out and buy other cameras. I do struggle with autofocus sometimes. When I started, I kind of struggled a little bit with the GH5 autofocus, but now I kind of tweaked it and I found actually a way to use it effectively, and now it works for what I do. It's a fantastic camera. I use it to shoot weddings and other stuff outside of YouTube. This is a camera that I would actually recommend. So moving on, we get my second camera, which is the camera that I actually use to shoot my overhead shots, basically when I'm kind of unboxing products, and this is the Panasonic Lumix GX85. This is a super nice camera that I use as well. I've got a 12 to 60 mm lens on it for that, and I've got a 25 mm lens on my GH5 for this talking head portrait kind of style look. The maximum aperture on the 25 mm lens for the GH5 is actually at 1.4, which is super great because it gives me this blurry background. I can also do a little test of just to show you how cool is actually getting the focus, when I'm trying to show stuff on camera. You can see the autofocus really works. It's not that of a big deal. That concludes the cameras, the computer, and I've got some other accessories, obviously. So for me to mount the Panasonic GX85, my overhead shot, I've got this Elgato desk mounting system for your overhead shots. I'm using light stand to have my camera on, which is super good actually, because if you use a tripod, it's gonna take more space, right? So I don't have that much space. You want to have the camera in the same position, especially if you are in a room where like just a tiny movement is gonna start showing things that you don't want to show in the frame. Now, on the top of that, I actually have a few monitors. I have one field wall monitor that I actually use it first of all to see myself. I tried using a teleprompter and I did not like it. It was kind of too far from me and I couldn't read well. I actually got this monitor. It's a 5-inch monitor from Fieldworld, and you guys can see it. This is what it looks like, and I actually kind of use it to see myself and to kind of give this eye contact when I'm creating videos, so you guys feel like we kind of talking together. So, and this applies for me live streaming and actually recording videos. How do I actually record my audio? I think I talked about it a little bit. So I'm using audio microphone actually that I've had it for over maybe 10 years. I don't think they're actually still being sold right now. Personally, I don't like to kind of have the microphone kind of showing in the frame. So I kind of, find this desk mount that I'm using to kind of mount it and actually make sure it does not show in the frame. So the microphone is actually good enough to get a good sound, even though it's not super close to my mouth. Since you can find it, if you want to get exactly the same thing, there's some other choices out there. Most of the USB microphones on Amazon, they should give you really good sound. So now, before we get to live streaming, let's talk about the lighting. Actually, the lighting part is not that complicated if you understand what you're trying to accomplish. when you're starting out, you're gonna have to try multiple looks and angles and stuff, and it's not gonna be so easy, right? So when I started out, I tried different setups and stuff, and then I ended up actually getting this look. To just give you an idea, I have one key light right now. I'm using the Godox SL60W. That's the key light that I'm using it. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't have to get exactly the same thing. When I started out, I was using a cheap soft box, and I was using RGB bulbs that I got from Amazon for like maybe $20 or $30. And I would say the key element when it comes to lighting is actually making sure you have a soft box, because the soft box is going to give you a nice smooth lighting and even kind of on your face. At the same time, maybe I would say if you don't have enough space, again, you need something a little minimal, try to get any light that kind of has some sort of diffusion. Also, you can try some ring lights. Some ring lights actually do give you some nice looking videos. This is gonna depend on your budget, but for me, I'm using the SL60W from Godox, and I'm running it around 13%. Okay, this is not a bicolor light, so this is a natural kind of light temperature, 5600 Kelvin. On the top of that, I'm actually using this lamp behind me. That lamp is really giving this separation between me and the background. But on the top of that, I actually got the other RGB lights, just creating this vibe here, adding some color. And behind the monitor that you guys see, I actually have another RGB pocket light. This light is fantastic because it's giving most of the color that you guys see. I can change it to any color that I want. Without that light, the background will be super white and it's not gonna look really good. So when it comes to live streaming, I got a separate desk for just live streaming, obviously for when I'm recording content as well, okay? And this desk is separate from the editing desk, okay? However, I'm running all the cables from the same computer. So I have a separate mouse and keyboard, and I've got my StreamDeck and my Atem Mini. They are all connected to the same computer. So what I did, I'm running this USB extender. So the USB extender is connected to the main computer and it's going all the way to the second desk, okay? And then on that USB extender, I actually connected another USB hub that gives me 4 USB ports, and those 4 USB ports, that's what I use to connect my mouse, my keyboard, my Atem Mini, and the StreamDeck. I also have different monitors. So I have my Atem Mini that obviously I'm gonna talk about in a moment, kind of receiving an HDMI input as a monitor from my main computer, which is something that I use sometimes when I'm displaying graphics on the live stream. Maybe this is gonna be for another video. And then I have a third monitor that I use sometimes too when I'm kind of live streaming and I need to share my screen, because I don't want to share the same screen where the OBS is being run. So I use a separate screen because that gives me a clean feed to whatever I want to display, or if I'm kind of playing back some videos. But the fourth monitor obviously is my field world, which is connected to the multi-view of the Atem Mini Pro. And sometimes obviously I can switch to just one single angle of me and I can use it to kind of see myself. Or if I'm having a guest on my live streams, I can actually have the guest on that monitor and I'm actually able to see the guest kind of do the conversation and they kind of get my eye contact. So basically that's it. So my live streaming, when I need to do the overhead shot, all my cameras are connected to my Atem Mini, so I'm able to switch angles. But at the same time, I have my StreamDeck, which is a super useful tool, especially when I'm streaming. I'm able to control OBS and control the Atem Mini using a software called Companion. So I'm able to control multiple things. Again, this is gonna be for a different video. You don't really have to get the Atem Mini Pro. You can simply use a cheap capture card. In fact, when I started out, I was using these capture cards, this $20 capture card, okay? And I actually had two. One was for my main camera, and then the other one was for my overhead. Got the Atem Mini Pro simply because I really needed to kind of upgrade, but at the same time sometimes I do gigs outside of my studio where I need to kind of live stream using the Atem Mini Pro, so that's why I kind of got it. So guys, this is it. I've got a few little small accessories that I use to connect, like, you know, longer HDMI cables running from my computer to all my monitors, and I've got HDMI splitters, just those little tiny things that I use. I've got this clamp that I actually use to mount my monitor to the camera. So those are little small things that you could actually, if you're interested in some of the stuff that I'm talking about here, you can actually send me a quick email. I'm gonna make sure I link to everything I'm using right now, and if you have questions, send me an email and I'll be more than happy to actually give you more details. Maybe one thing that I kind of forgot to mention is gonna be this monitor desk mount that I use at the same time to be able to actually mount this monitor to my desk, because again, my desk is so small. I needed a way to actually have the monitor not taking more space on the desk, because I needed that space for overhead shots. I'm also using this yellow background. Mostly the yellow background is to kind of create this vibe when I'm kind of reviewing products and stuff like that. This is just a, you know, a sheet of paper that I got from a dollar store. You can, you know, get any color that you want. You can also use the actual wood from the desk and it's still gonna be okay. So this is really gonna be subjective, again, depending on what you want. I've got some foam on the wall here. So basically this is to get the audio right, you know, just to make sure I minimize the amount of echoes that you may get when you're recording in the room, because sometimes your sound is gonna bounce back from walls and that is gonna create this echoey sound. So this kind of helps me to soundproof my room. So that's something maybe you may need to consider depending on the kind of room that you're gonna be working with. For my screen recordings, I use a software called Wondershare Demo Creator. So basically, it's like I pay $40 a year. The reason why I got it is because you could still do the screen recording using OBS, but when I'm using OBS and I'm creating a tutorial about OBS, it kind of creates this tunnel effect, and I didn't want that. So I wanted a clean kind of look of OBS. That's why I got a separate software to record my screen. So guys, this is basically how I'm running everything for my YouTube channel. Again, if you have questions, make sure you put it down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to actually answer any question. Just to mention one general tip that I can give you, try to work towards having a setup where it's actually going to save you time, especially when you are going to create content. The steps that you're going to make before actually hit the record button and start talking on your camera. So basically for me, when I start doing my videos, either I'm going live or I'm going to record videos, what I have to do, I have a remote for my key light. So I just turn on my light, it's always the same settings, and I turn on my camera, and then I turn on my 3 lights for the background, turn on my computer, and that's pretty much it, you know. Run whatever software that I'm gonna be using and I'm good to go. So it takes me about less than 5 minutes to actually be ready, you know, creating content. If you're gonna try to set up every time you're going to record, set up lights, set up the camera, you know, or do all the things, then it's not really worth it. It's gonna take your time and it's gonna take your focus away from creating content. So that's very, very important if you want to be creating content here on YouTube for a long time. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. Again, my name is Sam, live production tips and tools. On this channel, I create content about live streaming and video recording. So if you feel like you got value from this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. But other than that, I appreciate you and hopefully I'll see you on my next video. Take care.